As Niue High School students prepare for the English speech competition finals tomorrow, one student has been barred from the competition based on a collective decision made by the teachers of the school. Just days before the competition, the Year 11 student was informed that she would not be allowed to deliver her speech. That has raised concern and disappointment.
My concern as a parent is that my daughter, who's actually been prevented from doing the speech competition, has been discriminated unfairly. She had a speech regarding outside the comfort zone. Out of her own decision, she chose to talk about her experience on teenage pregnancy and the difficulties and how she was judged unfairly without people knowing her. Her speech didn't have any X-rated things in it. It didn't encourage it. It would have been more a help for girls in her age or in her teen years to think twice before doing something that they may, find difficulty to deal with. My concern is exactly the process that the English speech competition has been carried out in. The head of English and her English teacher weren't aware that her topic was going to be prevented from entering the competition. And right up until the last minute, then they were told, and they're themselves really upset with it, that she couldn't enter because she got excellence for it. So by right, she should be in that competition.
According to Mrs. Papani, in a discussion with the school, it was raised that the topic was not appropriate from the Niuean perspective and assumed repercussions that may follow, but the school has given an alternative option.
The alternative they gave was that she enter the competition with a different speech topic. That's really not an alternative, because there was nothing wrong in her speech. There's a lot of people who've actually heard the speech, read the speech, and they can't see anything wrong in that speech. If anything, we've given her support and appreciation and value for the fact that she's courageous enough to stand publicly and talk about her life experience. Obviously, it's not something that you should do up at Niue High School. It's not fair on a student. If it wasn't my daughter, I'd still be saying the same thing. It's not fair on the student that they are actually prevented from talking about a real life experience that happened to them. It's not anything that we should be ashamed of. If anything, we should try and prevent situations like this from happening. I hope that in the future that Niue High School takes a different attitude to what is happening now. Teenagers are going to go through, we all don't want it as parents, but there'll be times when teenagers will go through pregnancy. But if we have the right environment in order to create a positive support role, then we will be preventing. There's no point in sweeping these things under the carpet and not talking about it hush-hush when we all know it's happening in our backyard. It's not just Niue, it's actually a worldwide thing that's happening. But yeah, I'm just disappointed that Niue High School is not forward in its thinking to actually appreciate what the student has done in an English speech competition by talking about a real life experience outside the comfort zone.
A response from Niue High School on the matter was not forthcoming today, but they will respond in due course, and we were unable to get a comment from the Education Department. Niue government has donated 30,000 New Zealand dollars to the Japan government towards the Tsunami Rebuilding Relief Fund. Just a few months over a year after the biggest tragedy hit Japan last year, the whole country is still trying to restore normalcy, but reports from Japan is that many of its residents are still shaken up and many will not be the same after the tsunami. The 9.0 earthquake hit Japan caused a massive tsunami in March of 2011. The twin natural disasters claimed more than 15,800 lives and more than 3,000 people remain unaccounted for. Niue's contribution was handed over by Honourable Toke Talangi last week to Prime Minister Yoshihiko Noda prior to the Palm 6 meeting of Pacific leaders and the Japanese government last week. And staying with news from Japan, NUI's attendance at the Palm 6 meeting in Okinawa, Japan, supports our cooperation with Japan in many aspects of developmental initiatives and close relationships of Japan and the Pacific Island countries. Premier Talangi attended Palm 6 and discussed the important partnerships between Japan and the Pacific and the commitment the Pacific has to strengthen responses to natural disasters, environmental and climate change, sustainable development and human security, people-to-people exchanges, and maritime issues. The leaders expressed full confidence in Japan's ability and efforts to overcome the Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami, and welcomed that Palm was held under the banner of We Are Islanders for growing kitsuna or strong bond in the Pacific. Prime Minister of Japan, His Excellency Yoshihiko Noda, underlined his resolve to share with the leaders the lessons learned from the Great East Japan earthquake and tsunami and expressed the improving the Pacific tsunami warning and mitigation system in cooperation with the United States and other developmental partners. And secondly, holding an international conference on disaster risk reduction in the Tohoku region, as well as proposing to host the third United Nations World Conference on Disaster Reduction in 2015. As a joint endeavour with Forum Island countries, he also referred to a pilot program which will be implemented in November for developing catastrophe risk insurance in cooperation with the World Bank. NUI's Premier Honourable Toke Talangi, who was at Palm, will attend the 50th Independence Day celebration in Samoa at the end of this week before returning back to the island. Recognition was finally given for the efforts in the men's division Kilikiki competition for 2012 with the Niue Kilikiki Federation Awards ceremony held last Saturday. Team representatives and the committee finally came together for the distribution of team and individual prizes, with a majority of the prizes sponsored by IWRM and the Federation. A handful of prizes were distributed for those who on-field performance excelled, with separate individual prizes for the best bowlers, catchers, wicket-keepers, of course the coveted prize of over winners of the season. The Batsman of the Year with the most individual points went to Isatose Talangi with 221 points. Second, Daniel Makaia with 151 points. Thirdly, Halafo Mokale with 134 points. The best bowlers for 2012 went to Danny Panama, and second equal Panapoia Fasi, Poi Okesene, Sentuen Talangi, and third placing went to Masini Hololangalonga. Top catchers for the season went to Ioane Mamaien first, second Brent Ioane, Jacopo Laufoli, Numaka Kaiuha, Panapoia Fasi, and Wesley Seumanu. Third, Hakimoto Laufoli, John Talangi, and Metusela Falatatou. Top wicket keepers went to Popet Talangi, second Trevor Siakia, third Sentuen Talangi, and Filetti. But the top prize, Champion Cup and Shield, went to the team from Avaseli, runner-up Mutalau, third Hakupu, and Liku in fourth place. Despite the poor turnout to the prize-giving awards night, the Kilikiki Federation are hoping for an even more competitive season next year. The women's Kilikiki competition continues despite controversy over rules and regulations. Last Saturday, a few games were called off due to community commitments that saw Tuapa, Mutalau, Hakupu, Lakapa and Makefu all on bye over the weekend, which may draw out the competition a little longer. The weather did not help, with some momentary downpours making the competition tough. In Pool A, Liku took on their Alofi counterparts. Liku was first up to bat with only 20 players. They managed to get 108 runs before taking a brief break, and Alofi took to batting in the later half of the day with 25 players playing catch-up They managed to get 116 runs, securing them another win. It was a short-lived game between Tamakotonga and Toihika. It was decided in less than 1 hour. Toihika were the first to bat, managing 21 points in 35 minutes with all 19 batters out. Tamakotonga took 30 minutes and 2 batters to get 29 and secure a win before a huge downpour. In Pool B, neighbours Abasele and Waia battled it out, with Waia managing 85 runs with all players out. Then it was time for Abasele to put their skills to the test, only needing a quarter of the team to catch the score. 4 batters out, 2 still on the field, and a score of 90. All teams were relieved to have games over and looking forward to another round this coming weekend. And to end our news bulletin for tonight, the World Ark Circumnavigation Rally has returned to Niue with part of their fleet that arrived on the island last week. World Ark 2012-2013 is already underway with about 39 boats and over 250 people enjoying the adventure of a lifetime. That will end 2013. The 15-month round-the-world adventure began in January, starting in St. Lucia, sailing via Panama, Pacific Islands, Australia, Bali, Cocos, Mauritius, and South Africa and Brazil. The World Ark fleet has been temporarily split by a weather feature, forcing some boats that were sailing direct from Bora Bora to Niue to alter their course to Swara Island. The 6 yachts that left Swara arrived safely in Niue but has now left the island. Niue Yacht Club Commodore Keith Vile says they're expecting about 16 more yachts to arrive this week, and is an exciting prospect for the club, who have received great reviews from the yachties. The event is held every 2 years, and this is the 3rd time they have decided to stop in Niue due to the great hospitality received, and the next World Ark will be held in 2012. That's our news bulletin for this evening. Good night.